Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's C-O-M-B-E-S-T, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?
It's me, Egbert, once again. I'm the new owner of this station. I went out and hired the best talk radio consultant, Jeff Allen from News Talk STL, and told him to hire the worst talent he could find. Jeff did exactly as I told him. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Brad and John.
Is it our turn, John?
I'm still wondering about that promo. You know, I'm still wondering if we should be upset or happy about that for Barry's promo he did. What do you think, John?
Is this where Jeff Allen says that we're the worst talkers in the market?
Yeah,
well, he's seen a lot, and I mean, it's better to be, again, like you talked about last week, Brad, it's better to be remembered, you know, or at least be noteworthy than just, what are we going to do, get on the air and spend an hour, like, spouting generic talking points and saying, and next up is candidate X to talk about their same 3 talking points for 5 minutes.
Well, we could be like Rick and Tracy, where if you're a rhino or if you're a non-Christian, don't come in her radio station because she doesn't approve of that, right?
Brad, I'm going to ask you to cease and desist with that kind of talk. As Tupac said, so cease and desist with them tricks. No, actually, that was Shock G.
Here we go.
Whitey White. But you get the point. Cease and desist, Brad.
Whitey Whitebread, John Combest,
That's me. They call me the WW these days in the last week, thanks to Brad. Whitey Whitebread.
Who's a expert on rap.
That's true. Or hip-hop, depending on your know. You know there's a difference between rap and hip-hop.
I do.
Well, okay, but I would expect you to, because you do know about this topic.
Okay,
yeah, so.
Here's what I find fascinating about this, and we're getting sidetracked on this. Okay, what's fascinating to me about this is I can go on like a website like Wikipedia, and if like there's an artist I like, and I can go on their Wikipedia, and it will tell me the genres of music they do, and there are 14 million genres that I've never heard of before. Like you're like here,
like Skrillex. Yeah. You'll be like they collaborated with Skrillex composer in 2014.
Just for grins. Okay, give me. Off the top of your head, I got to do something here. Okay, off the top of your head, give me a well-known person that you would think that what type of music they just give me the name of an artist.
I would say Post Malone.
Okay, so we're going to go Post Malone.
And I'm not an expert on Post Malone, so that's one of the reasons I chose him, because I don't know much about him.
Okay, so we're going to go on, and he says Malone has gained distinction and acclaim for his blending of various genres, including hip-hop, pop, R&B, and trap. See, once again,
trap music. Yeah, there we go.
If you said to most people, okay, what's trap music? Okay, do you know what trap is?
Now, are you asking me seriously or sarcastically?
No. Do you know what trap is?
Yeah. Trap music came from the South, Atlanta. It was, popularized by Atlanta artists. Also, like guys like Bun B, guys from Port Arthur, Texas, were also instrumental in trap music.
Right. As a matter of fact, you're so good because the official Wikipedia definition says trap is a subgenre of hip-hop music that originated in the southern United States with lyrical references to trap starting in 1991, but the modern sound of trap appearing in 1999. Now, get this. The genre gets its name from the Atlanta slang term trap house, a house exclusively used to sell drugs.
Yeah.
And here we go. Trap music uses synthesized drums and is characterized by complex hi-hat patterns, tuned kick drums with a long decay, originally from the Roland TR 808 drum machine.
Just the snare in that 808.
Right.
See, that's a lyric right there. It's an 808 drum machine.
You're right. Exactly. That is a lyric. And lyrical. Now, what song is that from?
That's Wheezy. Hold on. Wheezy Baby on the mic. DOA. Okay, hold on. I just like to thank Kanye. Gosh, that's from the Carter album, which came out around 2008, I want to say.
And who is that? Who's the artist?
Lil Wayne.
Oh my God, you are so good at this.
Oh, I know what song it is. It's my favorite song from that album. It's track 8, and it's called "Let the Beat Build." And the lyrics and every verse, Brad, you'll appreciate this. They start slow and then they get a moderate tempo, and then by the end of each of the 3 verses, Wayne is rapping very quickly. Yeah, it came out right before I joined Monsanto. It reminds me of bumping that CD in my car back when there used to be compact discs.
Right.
It reminds me of bumping that CD on the way to my new job.
Okay, now what's the line again?
Just the snare and the 808.
And that refers to the Roland TR 808 drum machine.
Yeah. Wheezy Baby on the mic, DOA. And then he gives a shout out to Kanye.
Oh my God! I mean,
in the next lyric, yeah.
But see, what's so funny about this is, especially if you get into some of these artists, they list like 10 different things. You know, like East Coast, and in London this, and I'm going like, man, how, So in other words, if I walked into a club or something like that, let's say, and we don't even really, I don't think we really,
I don't know if they exist anymore.
Well,
maybe they do. If they do, I'm not aware.
They exist on the coast. They're not here in the, we used to have like some clubs, like there was Michael's and the Time Machine, some of the old discos. I used to spin records in the old days.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I said that one time in a meeting where there were people that were much younger in the meeting, and they all started to laugh. Spin records? What does that mean? Like I was like, hey, when I was a young whippersnapper, we used to go down to the river and throw rocks in the river. That kind of stuff.
But people like my age hear that, and we think of like Studio 54. But then we had our own clubs in that era, like in the late 90s, like Pops or Cheetah or places like that.
I'll give you one of my favorite videos, which I think is extremely well done. And once again, I'm a nerd on YouTube, and it used to be in the top 10 of the all-time watch videos. It's fallen out of the top 10. It's On the Floor by J-Lo. And they are.
Oh, I don't even know that song.
Oh my God, that's such a good song. And it's got Mr. 305 in it. Mr. 305.
Pitbull.
Mr. Worldwide. So that kind of stuff. I said that to somebody one day.
That just makes me laugh.
Matter of fact, I had a client, a lady who lived in Miami, and she had a phone number, and I used to call her Miss 305. And the first time
she didn't get it.
The first time I said that to her, she says, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Do you know who Pitbull is?" And she says, "Yeah." I go, "Well, he calls himself a couple different things. He calls himself Mr. Worldwide. And he calls himself Mr. 305 because he's in the 305.
Yeah, I don't know that J-Lo. I bet if I heard it, I'd recognize it. But I don't know that. I don't recognize the lyric On the Floor.
Well, first off, there's a couple different things about it. It's just strewn with product placement. Okay.
Oh, nice.
It starts off with a very slow thing where J-Lo is in it twice. You'd have to watch the video. She's like a queen of the disco, and literally a queen of the disco, but she's actually like one of the unscrubbed members that shows up at the club, and she shows up in a BMW, which they strategically show very closely. That as the car approaches, the final shot is that the car stops. The BMW logo is like third screen kind of thing. And then it shows when she's in her queen mode, it shows her drinking. Her servant is pouring her a glass of Crown Royal, which is very
evident. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which is like, okay, product placement. Okay, we got sidetracked. Okay. Over the weekend, she was actually in a bar or something like that. Did you actually see the video on this where Nikki Haley was approached by a reporter? And it looks like she's in a bar or a restaurant or something like that. Did you see it? You know what I'm talking about? Did John disappear?
Go tell me more about it.
Okay.
I'm here, Brad.
Okay. She is interviewed by a reporter, and somehow they get to talking about the fact of race. And she talks about the fact that she was a young girl, and one of her comments was she competed in some beauty pageant. And she said, "Look, I'm from the South. I grew up in South Carolina." And she talks about the fact that when she competed in a beauty pageant, she was not allowed in the beauty pageant because at that point in time, they had to put down a race, and you either had to put down black or white, and she was brown, and there was no box for brown, so she couldn't compete in the beauty pageant.
I find that, so first of all, I don't know how I missed that story, but I find that really hard to believe.
Well, that's what she says. I mean, I remember hearing the quote. I heard it over the.
I believe that she says that, but are we supposed to believe a tale that if you're not completely black or white, some evil, Karen woman at a pageant's going to say, I'm sorry, but you're not a real person. You can't compete in my beauty pageant.
Well, and look, not try to get weird about this. I've always said that I was disappointed in Barack Obama because he said he was black, but he's also white.
Right.
I mean, if he,
of course.
Right. So in other words, he had, it's sort of like the sexual thing. I identify as a
right,
matter of fact, I saw a thing over the weekend. Piers Morgan has really gone after the LGBTQIA community, and to the point where he does this all the time. And it's so funny. He baits these people because he gets them into the point where they say, well, what is your sex? Well, this is how I identify. And his standard answer is, what he says he identifies as?
What's that?
A two-spirit penguin. So he always says, yes, he always identifies as a two-spirit penguin. And typically the LGBTQI people go nuts.
Yeah,
you can't be a two-spirit penguin.
Because they're like, how dare you mock us?
Well, but and he's saying, and he throws it right back at him. And he says, a lot of times he's so good at this. He said, didn't you come on my show? Didn't you say 5 minutes ago that you could identify with whoever and whatever you are? And they go, well, I did. Well, I'm a two-spirit penguin. And they go, you can't be a two-spirit penguin. So they go back and forth. It's pretty funny. Okay, so she's going off in this whole thing about the fact that she was a brown person. And first off, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, and I'm not trying to say this because, oh, Brad, you're such a great guy, you're wonderful, you don't have this tremendously biased view of people. I look at her, I don't see a brown person, I see an attractive, smart woman. That's what I see.
I agree, and Brad, I didn't know that she was Indian or that she had Indian heritage until, gosh, I don't know, a year ago when people started talking about it. Had no idea. I just thought she had a nice, pleasant skin tone. I thought she was a white woman. I thought she was a pretty white woman.
Well, you know what? You put her up against, like I got Italian friends, okay? You put her next to one of my Italian friends, I don't think you can tell the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Or Greek friends.
Exactly.
I have Greek friends that have beautiful olive-colored skin.
My next-door neighbors for years and years and years when I grew up were Greek, and it's the same thing. Matter of fact, to the point where that's how I got the word skasa. You know what skasa means?
No, I don't.
Shut up in Greek, because the family next door, Mr. and Mrs. Vlanton, V-L-A-N-T, and one day I said to my buddy Eli, who was a little bit older than me, but he was a kid I used to play with next door, he was Greek, and I said, is your real name Vlantonopoulos? And he goes, how'd you know? Once again, they just chopped off the V-L-A-N-T-O-N was
because back in the day, we used to assimilate into this country.
Exactly.
You can't do that anymore.
Right, can't do that anymore. Okay, so once again, I'm going like, see, now the crazy thing is I knew she was Indian for a long time because of the fact that I'm a biography freak. When I find somebody who interests me on the national stage,
you'll do a deep dive.
I go into Wikipedia.
And you know what? If she's an attractive woman, you might dive a little deeper.
Well, not going to do me any good because she's married and she lives halfway across the country and she has no interest in an old ugly DJ like me or whatever, a talk show host. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, now she's going off on this because apparently somebody tweaked her on this to the point where she's not a person of color. And wasn't it AOC that recently said that she was not a person of color?
I think so.
One of the squad members said, well, she's not a person of color. So once again, it's like, okay.
Well, then, you know what? They're the arbiters of what is color and what is not. I think we should appoint them as gatekeepers.
This is how I did this, and I've never really talked about this much. Every once in a while I mention it on this show, but on Westplex 107.1, this is not an original idea. A friend of mine did this, and she told me, it was pretty funny. She said, someplace she worked or something like that, and they kept calling her Whitey, and she didn't like that, so she went to a Sherwin-Williams store.
Ask Sherwin-Williams.
And she said,
asked Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah, she asked Sherwin-Williams. She says, find my skin color, So the guy goes through all the little paint chips and say, here you go. And she says, can I have that? And the guy says, yeah. So she goes to work the next day, and she goes, I'm not white. I'm whatever the color is. So I thought to myself, okay, so I went to Lowe's, and I got little paint chips, and I am but depending upon the time of the year, because I change, this time of the year I'm more lighter. But normally I'm what was it? coffee mocha or a mocha java. That's what I am. A mocha java.
Ooh,
that's my.
That sounds exotic.
Yeah, a mocha java.
That's some lady marmalade, like
right?
Mocha chocolate.
And I think that if I in the summer when I get a little bit of a tan, my arms especially turn Italian roast. So,
hey, Italian roast. That sounds delicious. Actually,
so,
I don't take that the wrong way, Brad.
So once
Italian roast sounds delicious.
So once again, I tell people I'm not white. People go,
yeah,
because they'll go like, what are you? I'm mocha java. And they'll go, what? I'm mocha java.
Well, you identify as mocha java. But you know what? You could identify as mocha java in the winter too, Brad. Like, who's to say that one man's mocha java is not another's, winter cream?
But John, nobody's white. Nobody's white. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is white.
I mean, I know some folks that look decidedly ceramic.
No,
you know what I mean?
But you hold up like if you go onto the Pantone color thing and you hold up like white or like hexadecimal. I think hexadecimal is 0.00000 for white. You hold that up to their face, they're not white. Get what I'm saying?
No, one of the ways that people that dislike, I know we're up against time here, but one of the ways that people that dislike white people on social media can describe their disdain is calling white women FFFFFFF, because that's the Pantone.
For white.
So you can't go on Twitter/X now and say, God, I hate white women. But black women can go on Twitter and say, God, I hate FFFFFFF women. And you get your point across. That's the proverbial dog whistle.
John, thanks for that.